Good morning, friends. This is Deanna Willison from Our Blooming Catholic Life, and I'm here today with my...
reluctant husband.
What are you reluctant about today, husband?
Apparently we're talking funerals.
Death folder.
That doesn't bother me, funerals.
Yeah, so we went to a funeral the other week, and we've just got a lot of ill relatives, so funerals have been on my mind.
Yes, they have.
They have. And wondering what's going to happen when I go. So I went and saw a friend who helped me lay some foundational documents down here for my husband. So he hasn't seen or heard any of these choices yet, and so he may or may not be surprised.
I'm sure I'll be surprised.
Okay. So let's start with this one, because this is kind of before I'm dead. A Catholic Guide to End-of-Life Decisions. So it kind of walks you through the redemptive nature of suffering, what's obligatory, what's optional, specific teachings of the church, talks about euthanasia, and you end up with your healthcare proxy form, as well as an advanced medical directive. And one of the things that warns you about is having things too specifically laid out ahead of time. Because, like, you might say, I don't ever want a feeding tube, and then you're just in a condition where they have to put you in a coma or something for a couple of days so you can recover, and you're totally going to recover. But now you've signed a form saying that you don't want any IV, and that's bad news. So you want to give them some flexibility. Have a person, the real thing they said was be educated, have a person that you trust who's also educated and keeps up to date is really your best way to go. Have the films filled out with some absolutes, but have some flexibility built in, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I also found this great preparing for a funeral or memorial mass it was a specific parish, but it was a Franciscan parish, so I kind of like that. So it kind of also goes into what goes into a Catholic funeral mass. And I'll get into all of that in a little bit, but there was actually, is it still here? It also goes into things like the stipends, which I never realized. The stipends are usually paid for through the funeral home who gets your insurance money, so you can let them pay all the stipends to the church. I found that was kind of interesting. Kind of, yes?
I knew the funeral home could pay most of those things, yes.
Okay, and then it gets confusing, like, do you want fancy musicians and all that? But I didn't do that, so I'm just going to go and reveal my choices for songs and scriptures right now.
Okay.
Are you excited?
Anxious?
Do you want to try and guess any?
No.
Oh, not even one?
This Amazing Grace, that seems like everybody has that.
Yes! Okay, so Amazing Grace is on the list. Yay! He's such a winner. And I like that song for funerals, number one, because it talks about how awesome God is and his mercy. And it's a great time to bring it up at a funeral, just to remind God. Remember that mercy? And
Does he needs reminding?
He doesn't, but it's helpful. Moses reminded him, and he
Okay.
didn't strike him down, so I'm just saying. But the other reason is because a lot of people know that one. So that's a pretty easy one. So the gathering hymn, the hymns, the songs that we sing in Catholic Mass all have a purpose. So the gathering hymns to gather us in. And I picked All Creatures of Our God and King because St. Francis. Gotta have some St. Francis there right off the bat, right?
Okay.
And
makes sense.
And if I was still alive, I could play that on my ukulele. I don't think anybody would like that, but...
Are we recording it so it can be played by you?
No, that is a great question. Actually, pre-recorded songs are not allowed at the Mass. But you could totally have them at the funeral home. Great idea!
Your hand's cold.
Sorry, my hand is cold. But I could totally play the music and have that pre-recorded for you, husband. You guys are going to enjoy my viewing so much. Let's see. What else do we have? The response...
I control the volume.
He has to outlive me in order for that to happen. But it's true. Somebody could control the volume. Again, somebody else can overwrite these. These are just my suggestions. In case I go first, that my poor grieving husband doesn't have to be, like, waiting in the desert there trying to figure it all out. For the responsorial psalm, I did pick "The Lord is my shepherd." I actually picked a particular arrangement, too.
Okay.
I like the one by Allstott. It's better. I can always play it for you sometime if you like. Preparation of the Gifts, Amazing Grace, which is also a beautiful time for that. For communion, I had two choices because I'm just, maybe because there's going to be so many people there praying for me because I need a lot of prayers. So I figured the communion line could be pretty long. So I picked How Great Thou Art and One Bread, One Body.
I can just have people go through twice if you need to.
You can't do that. I guess just fill it up with Protestants with their arms crossed asking for blessings. I guess you can get multiple blessings. You're a goofball. It's going to take so long because I really don't want Eucharistic ministers unless they're deacons. I prefer friars and priests. So just tip them really well because it might take a while. I'm assuming that all of you are coming to my funeral and praying for my poor little soul. I hope. The Song of Farewell, which is the incensing of the casket. I picked Come to Her Aid, O Saints of God. It's very lovely. I played it.
Okay.
Recessional hymn, Holy God, we praise thy name. And then, In Case I Die During Advent. I love that this form is so thorough. In Case I Die During Advent, my favorite two songs would be O Come Divine Messiah and O Come Emmanuel. Now I know you're probably, thinking, what about the other ones? Because the other ones would be under Christmas that you might have been expecting me to pick. So in Christmas, if I die during Christmas season, I have O Come All Ye Faithful and Silent Night. I'd prefer y'all to sing that in German. Just saying. I would prefer, if I had a preference, it would be sung in German. Even before I took German in high school, I always tried to sing it in German because it's the original language and my family comes from that area-ish in Europe. Lent. Should I die in Lent? Jesus, remember me. And should I die during Easter? Christ the Lord is risen today. Now, was that written by Wesley?
I don't know.
I don't know. I tried to be nice to the Methodists and pick one of these songs I feel like is by a Wesley.
Okay.
So, look at me. I'm so nice. I tried to be thoughtful with it. Would you like me to read the readings? I'm going to read the readings. We have time. Okay, here I'm going. Because he's probably doesn't know what they would be. So that you have several choices for all of these. I picked Isaiah. See how fast I can find them. Isaiah 25. I'll not do the whole thing probably. Isaiah 25, it starts at 6. And this isn't exactly it because it's like 6 and then 7a, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to read 6 through 9. On this mountain the Lord of hosts will make for all the peoples a feast of fat things, a feast of choice wines, of fat things full of marrow, of choicest wines well refined. And he will destroy on this mountain the covering that is cast over all the people, the veil that is spread over all the nations. He will swallow up death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away all tears from all faces, and the reproach of his people he will take away from all the earth, for the Lord has spoken. It will be said on that day, Behold, this is our God, we have waited for him, that he might save us. This is the Lord, we have waited for him. Let us be glad and rejoice in his salvation. Like, I'm getting teared up just reading it. And I'm not even dead yet. I just think that's a beautiful, beautiful... Isn't that give you hope?
Yes.
It's funny because I'm tearing up even though it says he'll wipe away every tear. I know. I'm terrible. I have a backup one if he didn't like that, but he totally liked that. So we're not going to go into the backup. For the second reading, I picked from Romans. Aren't you just thinking now what you would like? Romans 8, 14 to 23. Ooh, that looks like a long one. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of sonship, when we cry, Abba, Father. It is the Spirit himself bearing witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and fellow heirs with Christ, provided we suffer with him, in order that we may also be glorified with him. I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. For creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay and obtain the glorious liberty of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning with labor pains together until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait for adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. Pretty powerful stuff, right?
Sure.
Are you getting less reluctant? You're like, she's made good choices. I won't have to redo the whole thing the second she's dead. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm not redoing it.
You thinking I'm making good choices?
I would go with your wishes.
Matthew 11:25 for the responsorial. At that time Jesus declared, I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and understanding and revealed them to infants. My goodness.
That's what he thought about it.
I know, he's pretty excited. And then I chose for the gospel reading, it actually, either Matthew 11:25 through 30 or Matthew 25, 1 through 13. So that's a little confusing, but he can pick. So if he picks that one, it would go on. Yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. All things have been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Good?
Mm-hmm.
So, I really liked the guide. USCCB has that on their website. And I'm going to put it up there, but if you look, it's really long. usccb.org. You know what? I'm going to put it in the description of the show so you can grab that guide, these guides that I was using yourself. I do have a little bit more. There's a lovely handout on Francis of Assisi and embracing of sister death, just to help you out there. And then I had a huge checklist there from my friend Claudette, who helped me write this. Don't worry, I made a book, Williston Bereavement and Funeral Plan. It's big, so we can all write in it. And if you change, you can just take a page out. So I have written my full name out with my confirmation name. What's my confirmation name?
Catherine, I think.
Yes, with a C, which you might panic about at that time because you don't see me write it normally, right? And I wrote my birthday just so I imagine anybody would be grieving me. I would hope. Praying for my poor little soul. Do you like the burial? Burial or cremation, it says at the top. And what did I do? I wrote him a handy dandy note. What does it say?
Burial, not cremation, and if I am really and truly dead and not just in a coma or really, really still, I want to be an organ donor.
I want to be clear. Don't be like, the doctors be like, man, she's sort of maybe. Can we just have those organs now? Don't go look at her. Yeah, don't take their word for it. Be sure that I'm really, really gone. I'm just a little worried about that these days. Sorry. I have where I would like to be, the church I would like. I have visitation the night before, morning of, if I could. Then I have choose one for Franciscan wake. And you check with the minister of the fraternity to find out what's available for them and when they can get the spiritual guide there. And don't worry, I've included the website for you so you can get to that information. Is that handy on me?
Sure.
I feel like I tried to be as handy as I could. Funeral home. I preferred minimal makeup, no embalming, that sort of thing. The minimal that's needed on any of that. The casket, don't worry, I included the website and the phone number and the model number. Am I handy?
Mm-hmm.
I would like the casket from the Trappist monks that they make. The number 4 simple rectangular casket. In pine would be my preference. I didn't put walnut's my second choice. Currently, it's $1,200, so that's not horrible price. And husband, are you waiting for this?
Yes.
When the Trappist monks make it, it's got a little cross engraved on the top of the casket. And there's a keepsake cross that you can take out and one person gets to have. If you're thinking you're all going to be fighting over it, don't worry because you can get additional ones. Sorry. I'm trying trying not to touch him with my cold hands. It's not working.
We're talking about death and funerals and our hands are freezing cold.
But you can get additional little keepsake crosses. So you don't have to, you know how everybody normally gets all those expensive flowers and then they take the dead flowers and then you don't know what to do with them? You can have a cute little cross. I know, I can go over 15 minutes now. YouTube likes me.
Thanks, YouTube.
I have the burial shroud. I have 2 resources. Because I'm a secular Franciscan, if my minister is okay with it, got to check with my secular Franciscan minister at the time. If they're okay with it, I'm allowed to wear a burial shroud. And there's 2 places you can get it from. One's around a little bit more than $50. One's just under $100 right now. And the one actually comes with a little pamphlet that lets the priest know how to run a funeral for a secular Franciscan. I thought that was handy dandy of them. I'm just saying. Is there another page here? There is. So all the things I just told you earlier, that's all written out very nicely. Handy dandy sarcastic notes at the bottom. Please don't stop that. What?
Okay.
So I tried to write it all out as easily as I could. Oh, I put little blanks because I don't know who would be reading what. Like, some people have this all planned out. I have a friend who has her book all ready to go, except a picture of her and the date on the back. I am not that well planned. But is this a good start for you?
If you put the dates, I'm going to have issues.
But is this a good start, do you think? Did I do a decent job? And then I put it in this lovely purple folder so it'd be easy to find in our safe with all our important papers.
Is there a significance that it's purple?
I mean, purple resurrection. A little hopeful there. Yeah.
Okay. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I thought it'd be easier. And see, it's not like Deanna lilac, nice. This is bold, bright, resurrection purple here. Easter purple.
You can pay me for the softball that you just.
So, when are you planning your funeral, husband?
I don't know. I'm guessing sometime soon.
Because if you don't, you know what it's going to look a lot like?
That one?
It's going to look a lot like the one I planned, yes. Except you won't get a burial shroud for women. I don't want to ruin that for you.
They were my plans for tomorrow.
But I saw what it was with my dad. I mean, like, you pick out an outfit for people to wear, and that's a lot of stress, and then you get it, and because they've done organ donation, the funeral home director was like, no, I need a shirt in a bigger size or something, or longer sleeves, and we had that awkwardness with my dad in it. Also, there was the incident of my aunt who died in the polka dotted dress. I'm still not over that. God bless you, relatives that picked out the navy blue dress with the white polka dots. I was little. I thought she was going to pop out of the casket at any second. That's too dynamic an outfit. Please don't do that to children. So I tried to be very thoughtful in my choices. Hey, if you didn't like any of my choices or you've got some better suggestions, put them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't worry, because the next one my reluctant husband makes, he's totally not reluctant for. What have you done, husband?
Oh, we're doing that.
We're going to do that.
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky from...
Local homestead products.
So it's seriously a local farm that's making their own...
jerky. Including a bacon jerky.
Including a bacon jerky.
All beef except for the bacon jerky.
And he just got those today. They're in his hot little hands. And it's probably going to kill him to wait, but we're going to a Valentine's Day dinner, so he'll get to do that later.
That's fine. I can wait.
He can wait because it's bacon.
Jerky.
Yeah, because it's jerky.
It can wait.
He's okay. Waiting a little bit. But not too long.
Still getting over the combos. You all know they're fine, but...
And the combos didn't kill him yet, and I don't think the jerky will, so you probably have a little bit of time to plan your funeral. And seriously, folks, I'm not trying to be too cheeky or rude. You just see people who are heartbroken, and working on the funeral a little bit can be a little bit therapeutic, but I'd at least have some kind of outline. I think it's nice to have something down for them, and especially those medical directive kind of forms, to have those filled out and ready to go.
Yeah. And
eventually we should get a will written.
Yeah.
We're a little reluctant, if you can tell on this. Yeah. But bacon jerky, if it doesn't kill us, we'll be back.
Bye.